So Pokemon Sword and Shield have been out for a good little while now, but we still don't know everything there is to know about the game. I made a video a few weeks ago talking about 5 unexplained mysteries within Pokemon Sword and Shield, and you guys really seem to like it a lot, so I decided to dig through the game and find some more unanswered questions, just because not only did you guys really enjoy it, but I really enjoy this kind of stuff as well, when we have something within the game that seems like there's more to it, but at the same time, currently, we just don't have any answers. And after some digging, I was actually able to find 5 really interesting unanswered questions, so without any further ado, why don't we go ahead and take a look. Okay, so the first thing we are going to talk about here is the case of the mysterious Beast Ball. Once you complete the game and become the champion, if you go to Stow-N-Side and talk to some of the merchants there, eventually they will actually give you a Beast Ball, which is a very rare ball within the Galar region that, as you probably know if you played Pokemon Sun and Moon, is used exclusively to catch Ultra Beasts. The problem is, though, there are no Ultra Beasts to be had within Pokemon Sword and Shield whatsoever. They were amongst the group of Pokemon that got cut from the game and were not included, so if none of the Ultra Beasts were included, why would the ball used exclusively to catch them be included anyway? On the one hand, it is a previously established Pokeball, so it makes sense that they would want to include all previously established things within this game regardless of their utility, but the thing is, they just barely cut hundreds of Pokemon from the game, so if they can cut Pokemon, they can very easily cut Pokeballs and other items as well, especially if they are tied directly to the Pokemon that got cut. And as far as we can tell, it's not even that Ultra Beasts are going to be included later on in the game either. We do have evidence that some of Gen 7's legendaries, such as Cosmog, Solgaleo, and Lunala, are eventually going to be in the game in some way because their data is present within the titles, but the thing about those Pokemon is that they're actually classified as legendaries, not Ultra Beast, at least as far as the game is concerned, so once again, there really isn't any reason for the Beast Ball to be here unless it was going to get some kind of use later on down the line, but whether that means we're going to get Ultra Beasts included later in the game, whether they're going to be in the Sword and Shield follow-ups, or whether it has something to do with maybe Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes, we are just going to have to wait and see because we have no evidence of what is going on at this time. Another one that is kind of related to the whole Beast Ball thing is Type Null. After you complete the game within the Battle Tower, if you talk to one of the Macrocosmos members within the lobby, they will actually gift you a Type Null. Now, normally this would seem all well and good, getting gift Pokemon isn't too crazy, but within the context of Sword and Shield and the Pokemon being Type Null of all things, it definitely raises a lot of red flags. To start off, since Type Null is considered a legendary Pokemon, it is the only legendary currently within the game, aside from the 3 Galar legendaries and Mew, who you can get from the Pokeball Plus from Let's Go. Now, other Pokemon from the data mine that have yet to be officially included into the games aside, why would Type Null essentially be the one legendary out of the 7 generations worth of legendary Pokemon to be included immediately in the game? In fact, you could argue that Type Null is the least deserving legendary to be in this position out of all of them, because not only is it a kind of under-the-radar type of legendary Pokemon, but on top of that, its generation that it was featured in, we just came from in Generation 7, so it kinda seems like you would take a break from the Gen 7 stuff and allow some older stuff to shine through in these new games instead. It just seems like a very, very odd inclusion, and the fact that you receive this Pokemon from a Macrocosmos member, who are the guys that are basically the evil team in these games towards the end, kinda raises even more questions in and of itself. Is this going to have any meaning further on down the line? Does this have anything to do with the Beast Ball that we talked about earlier? Is this going to be used in future games once again, like the Sword and Shield follow-ups, or maybe even the Diamond and Pearl remakes? Since Type Null is essentially a failed man-made recreation of Arceus itself, maybe its presence is none other than just a hint that Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes are coming, but whatever the case may be, we have no inclination of why this could be here, even though it seems like it's supposed to be here for some reason, hence why it is a very head-scratching unanswered question. My third point on this list is a very intriguing one to say the least, and that would be the case of Copperajah's original region. The Pokemon Copperajah is an elephant-based Pokemon who is a pure Steel type and is Chairman Rose's signature Pokemon, but if you catch one for yourself and look at its dex entry in Pokemon Sword, you will actually learn that Copperajah is not originally from the Galar region. It reportedly came to the Galar region long ago from another region and helps people with their daily activities, essentially. The simple utterance, though, that Copperajah is not from Galar, and we clearly know that it is not from any other region we have previously seen, instantly gets the wheels turning about the idea of a future region within Pokemon, and maybe even this being a hint at the Generation 9 region, whatever that may be. Now, Pokemon debuting in their non-native regions isn't really anything new, because we have seen Pokemon like Yungoos and Gumshoos, Corphish and Crawdaunt, and you could even argue Exeggutor debuting in regions that are not their own. And other than, once again, arguably Exeggutor, we haven't really found out the origin region of any of these Pokemon, but it's not going to stop Pokemon fans from wondering nonetheless. Obviously, Game Freak included this Pokedex entry for a reason, and whether it was just to keep up the tradition of these Pokemon existing within the games, or whether it was a hint at something more, is obviously yet to be seen, but personally, I think it's very interesting that coupled with this dex entry, that Copperajah was the signature Pokemon of Chairman Rose, a guy with a darker complexion who owns an elephant Pokemon. That definitely seems to me like some kind of Indian vibe or theme is going on, so maybe that whole dynamic as a whole is a hint at an Indian-based region coming in the future. We definitely don't know for sure, but it's very interesting to think about regardless. Next up is the type of thing that I personally really enjoy discussing a lot, so I would really appreciate an answer on this, and that would be the timeline placement of Pokemon Sword and Shield. While the Pokemon timeline as a whole is much more ambiguous than other video game franchises in terms of what takes place where in relation to all of the other games, there is an established timeline, and usually one way or another, we eventually learn when the new games, whatever they may be, take place within the timeline relative to the older games. This happened for X and Y in the form of a tweet from a Game Freak staff member right around the time of its release, and this happened for Sun and Moon with some concept art of Grimsley, which essentially confirmed the timeline placement of those games as well. However, to this point, nothing of the sort has happened for Sword and Shield to confirm in any way when these games take place on the timeline. We can pretty definitively say that these games take place somewhere within the non-Mega timeline because of the fact that Mega Evolution doesn't exist within these games, but other than that, we really have nothing to go on. And one thing that makes this particular question all the more interesting is one of the gym leaders of the Galar region, that being Opal. Opal is by far the oldest gym leader within Galar, and if you take a look at one of her league cards, it will tell you that she has been gym leader for 70 years. The reason why this is particularly noteworthy is because the concept of gyms, gym leaders, the Pokemon League, and even catching Pokemon in Pokeballs themselves is roughly only around 50 or so years old. It cropped up around the time Pokeballs popped up, and Pokeballs popped up roughly 50, maybe even 60 years ago. So the fact that Opal has supposedly been a gym leader for 70 years with all of that already established is somewhat head-scratching. Does that mean that Sword and Shield take place far into the future to the point where Pokemon Leagues and Pokeballs and all that stuff has been around for 70 years? Or is there something else going on within the Galar region and maybe they developed the concept of the Gym Challenge before anyone else? These are the kinds of things I would absolutely love to know, but with Game Freak saying absolutely nothing on the matter as of yet, and with all of the other timeline conundrums for these games that we previously talked about, coupled with that, it is going to make for a very head-scratching set of circumstances for at least the next little while, if not longer. And the last unanswered question I'm going to be talking about today is kind of a two-for-one, and that would have to do with all of the monuments that we see throughout the Galar region, particularly the ones of the Pokemon. There are a lot of Pokemon monuments scattered all throughout the Galar region. you of course have the obvious ones like the Turffield Giant and the sculpture of Zacian and Zamazenta in Stow-N-Side, but then you've got some other ones like the Dugtrio / Diglett sculptures also around Stow-N-Side. You've got the dragons that are depicted all throughout Hammerlock, and while it isn't a Pokemon, you even have the statue of the quote singular hero back in the hotel in Motostoke as well. And while granted, some of these monuments are touched on and explained throughout the story, a lot of them are just left with more questions than we have answers for. For instance, I've already talked about the Turffield Giant and the Toxtricity statues in Holbury in my last video about unexplained mysteries, but it goes deeper than just that because obviously once again, we have those Dugtrio / Diglett sculptures. Like, I'm pretty sure if you're going to carve a giant statue of Dugtrio and Diglett, whatever you want to call it, into the side of a mountain, you're going to have a reason for doing so, but as far as I know, there isn't any explanation within the game that says why they are there. We also have the case of the Hammerlock Dragons, because within the world of Pokemon, I would imagine if you're going to create a statue or a bust of a dragon-like creature like this, it's going to be of a specific Pokemon, but as of yet, we have not been told who, if any Pokemon, these dragons are depicting. And you could even argue that the Zacian and Zamazenta related statues need some explaining as well, because even though we kind of learned throughout the game that the real heroes of the Galar region were the Pokemon and not the kings or the brothers that were talked about, it still seems like we have a presence of two human heroes in addition to the Pokemon. That's why we have the statues of them in Stow-N-Side, and that's why you have the brothers Swordward and Shieldbert that are supposedly their descendants within the post-game as well. So who were they, and are we going to get to learn more about them, or frankly about the past of the Galar region as a whole, because a lot of these monuments specifically have to do with the past of the Galar region, which is a focal point for the story. I will admit that a lot of this stuff specifically very well could just be decoration for the overworld, or the type of stuff that is better left unsaid, but even still, it does provide questions that could eventually get answers that we could discuss further in future titles, but as of right now, we have absolutely no information whatsoever as to what they could truly mean. And there we have it, everybody. Those were 5 unanswered questions in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, I do need to apologize because you may or may not have heard that my voice is kind of failing me. I have a cold right now, so hopefully that didn't mess up the video too much, but if you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like and leave a comment in the comment section below about your thoughts about all of these questions and whether or not you think we'll get answers to them. Be sure to subscribe if you're new as well for more Pokemon content all the time, and if you'd like to support me further, you can check me out on Spotify for my Pokemon remixes, and check out my Pokemon Cardinal project as well. Both of those are massively appreciated and help the channel greatly. And with that being said, I will be back on Thursday with another video, so hit that bell so you can be notified as soon as it goes live. And with all that being said, I love you guys very much, and until the next one, as always, I will smell you guys later.